the Johannesburg Crisis Alliance also sounding the alarm on the city's governance, calling for Mayor Kabelo Kwamanda's resignation amid plummeting citizens' confidence. The alliance argues that Kwamanda and his team lack the necessary skills to tackle the deepening crisis. And joining us now for more on their take is Julius Clenans, who's the executive manager for local government with the organization Undoing Tax Abuse. Julius, it's lovely to see you. Thanks very much indeed for making time to speak to us. Look, I'm going to take the opportunity just to get you to weigh in on Action SA's proposal here. Essentially, they're saying they are willing to, if you like, lend their support to the government on the day on an issue-by-issue basis because they reckon that, the city has gone down some kind of crisis path and needs to turn around. I wonder, given what we know, and I imagine there's a lot we don't know, whether you reckon this strategy will work.
Yeah, look, I'm no political analyst, but I think the root cause of the problem that we're seeing in all municipalities are politically related. A municipality shouldn't have any political ideology. It should purely be there to benefit its residents and businesses to ensure that there's basic services. So, we see that politics come and go as a flavor of a week. And I think that is part of our problem. We need more continuity and we need professional public servants and more specifically officials within the different designations and departments within the city to do their jobs. One of the biggest problems we're sitting in the city of Johannesburg is specifically because of the political council. And the reason I'm saying that is these are the very people who voted in favor of the prepaid surcharge, in favor of the increases, and that all while the city is not run efficiently. So they're basically externalizing the cost on hardworking residents. And sadly, the only recourse that people believe they have is to go to the polling stations again in 2 years from now. And we cannot make sure that our municipalities are functional relying on this political games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes the other risk is to have this revolving door continue because, whoever occupied a certain position doesn't seem to be getting the work right. In the main, you're calling for Kabelo Kwamanda to resign. I mean, given what I've just said, to what extent do you reckon that will solve the problem?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's very important as residents and businesses to know who the councillors are, because these are the people who, in a majority vote, determine who will fit these positions in committees and mayoral positions. But also we need to make sure that there's better transparency and accountability, because there needs to be a clear division of power between the political elements and its officials. So yes, we need change. Leadership is everything. And I think if you look at the status quo in the city of Johannesburg, we cannot afford as a city to have any more of these games. We need professional people to do the job.
It's interesting that there seems to be, at least between the Alliance and Action SA, this very clear clarion call for Kabelo Kwamanda to step aside, but there aren't any names being proposed around who should replace him. Does the Alliance have a stance on that?
Yeah, no, we don't really have a position on that at the moment. I think that's a proper problem that we have with the politics in the country at the moment. If you were to elect someone to represent you, basically the political party that you vote for pushes that person ahead and they say, this is who you're going to vote for. I think we need to maybe look at things differently and hopefully we can see some better proponents for this position to be taken up. I think obviously the GNU will have probably some kind of influence on a provincial level and that might go down into municipal level. But regardless, I think one has to have a seasoned politician, for the short term, especially with the local government elections coming up, but who's in tune with the status of the city. If you get someone who's really committed to make a difference, doesn't matter where they come from, that can actually prove that they are doing the work instead of just talking. I think you might be able to sway residents and business to become part of the solution. That's what's really needed, because no government will fix the city of Johannesburg. It needs all hands on deck.
Absolutely. And, some people will argue that, in fact, we have had people in the past come in who are very much capable of doing the job, but simply didn't have the support they needed to see this through. And it doesn't help that council in Johannesburg and many other metros is so fragmented. It almost seems or feels like this position is a poison chalice, because whoever gets there has to have the mammoth task of bringing everybody around the same table and get some kind of agreement that will last a full term at the very least, so that whatever they're implementing has an opportunity to have a material impact.
Yes, and I think that's where one hopes that something like the GNU can have a bit of an influence. And the reason I'm saying that is you need majority parties to get committed to at least the next 2 years of local government elections coming up, to just start turning the ship around, to focus more on the basics, cut the fat. And the reason I'm saying that is that this city is running so inefficiently, and they pushing up costs whilst they are also increasing expenses like blue light brigades and all these kind of things. So hopefully, if you have some majority parties going into a proper formal coalition that doesn't focus on politics, but rather on providing the basic services, you'll see the economic stimulation coming. And yes, it won't take a year or two to fix the city. It might take a decade or two, but we need to start now.
All right, Julius Kleinans, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Hopefully we'll get this right finally, especially when you consider what's at stake. Julius Kleinans is the executive manager, for local government with the organization Undoing Tax Abuse. That, of course, is OUTA. All right, and that's us for you on the agenda. What a morning it's been. Quite a start to the work week. We'll continue watching the day's big stories for you throughout the course of the day. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. On Point is next.